Hi everyone, Andy here, the Tai Chi guy. We're going to be working with a stick to do our QiGong today, Chinese wand exercises. There are many forms of QiGong exercise that use a stick. It's the most readily available tool that people usually will pick up, the first thing that people hit each other with. That's one of the early, of course, martial art weapons, but also one of the early tools that you use for exercise. It's a very good thing because it helps to bring symmetry to the body, and it also creates a junction between the Lao Gong points in the hands and the upper, middle and lower dantian, where there'll be a triangle of exercise coming through depending on the position of the wand. Also with these exercises, the traditional way to do it are in sets of 6, where you'll start off in yang and go through earth, metal, water, wood, fire, through the Chinese elements, finishing with yin, going back through again. We're not going to get too much into that at the moment. We'll do a seminar on it. You can come to Portsmouth and learn all about that at some point once we finish with this lockdown. But for the moment, we'll keep it all general, all nice and easy. Listen to your body. If you've got something like a frozen shoulder, don't do these exercises. Make sure that the stick is wide enough so that you can use your shoulder rotation. If it's too narrow, it's just going to be too difficult and make you too tense. So like I said, take the head off something that's long enough. A normal broomstick or a mop should do for most people. So we're going to start warming up without the stick. So pop the stick down on the floor, make sure that you're not going to step over it. Through all of these exercises, as with everything that we do, you must be aware that it's not just a physical exercise. The mind plays an important part, not the cognitive mind that's full of words and pictures, but the mind that is aware. So you have to let the cognitive mind go and bring your awareness into the movements. Also, your breathing is very important. We're not going to tell you where to breathe because there are different breathing patterns in this as well. Some exercises you breathe in at the beginning, some exercises you breathe out at the beginning. So there's too much there just for a simple exercise. Like I said, we'll do a seminar and you can get all of the details on that over time. So just be aware of your breath, make it long and deep and slow. The more experienced you are, the more you'll link it with your breath anyway. You'll find that it happens quite naturally. So get yourself into a position where you're ready to start, feet out, shoulder width wide and parallel. It's always good to have a good warm up before you start. So perhaps you want to do that before the video. We're going to take you through the traditional single warm up exercise for the Chinese wand, because the wand itself warms the rest of the body up. So we start by bringing the hands into a prayer in front of you. They come down through the legs as you bend them, then they open. You lift the heels a little bit as you open the arms on either side, open the chest, then bring the hands up to the prayer again and through the legs and up. And this exercise can be done slightly slower, slightly faster, but because it's just a simple general set, do it at a speed that feels comfortable for you. Just a couple more. One more going through the legs, one more opening. And relax down. Let's grab hold of the stick. There are various different grips on the stick that are used. There's the martial grip, the civil grip. You've got that pyramid-like or that triangle-like connection always through from the hands to one of the dantian points, but this will happen naturally. You don't really need to know anything about it. So make sure that you get your feet out wider rather than narrower, not ridiculously wide. We are going to take a wider stance for one of the exercises later. So feet shoulder width wide and parallel. Let's just bring the stick up the long way above the head for sunrise and sunset. So we're going to bring the stick down just about level with the forehead, bend the knees a little bit, and then bring it up, lift the heels up, then we come down a little lower, just about the height of the neck, stretch up, and then we come down, middle of the chest, and we come down a little lower, between the lower and middle dantians, upper stomach. Now we come down to the lower dantian, just down below your navel. And then we're going to come down all the way, not bending forward, but keeping the back as straight as you can. Just let the arms relax down, and the stick should come down close to the thighs. Now you can repeat going down to this furthest point as many times as you want, but you must go through the graduated stages to get there. So let's do one more. And then we're going to go on to the next exercise. So bring the stick down just behind the neck, there. Lift it up without lifting the heels. And it comes down, back of the head, let the knees bend a little bit, and up. Down, and it should just rest on the shoulders. And up, not lifting the heels on this one. And down, and it just comes down below the shoulder blades. And up. This is peeling the octopus. Down, height of the middle dantian, should rest about where the elbows are. And up. Down to where the lower dantian is, and up, and then down all the way, and you can let the arms relax down, bend the knees, should come down about to the coccyx, and up, and we'll do another couple, down, and up, and down, and up. Now, just leave the legs in a comfortable position. Bring the stick in front of you to twist the snake, and we're going to drop one hand down, bring one up, bring it round the back of the head. You drop one hand down, bring it round the front to the same level on its way back, just to the back of the head. And then we come over, should come round the top of the shoulders, back of the neck. Only go as far as you feel comfortable on all of these exercises. If I go further than feels comfortable or certainly sensible for your shoulders, for your body, then don't go as far. So we're going to come down to the bottom of the shoulder blades, round to the front, same level. Below the shoulder blades, about level with your heart. Round the other way. Down a little further. Should be about the height of the lower dantian, about the height of the belly. And then all the way down, unless it feels uncomfortable, in which case you stop at one of the other stages. There. Now, bring the stick up behind your neck, just there. Turn a few degrees one way, back to the front, and then lean to the side and upright. The same the other side, a few degrees over one way. I'd normally be breathing out in, couple of degrees more. Just try to link your breathing with your exercise a little further over. There. And a little further still. A little further over to the side. Not quite halfway. Now, coming. So the stick gets quite straight, but this might not be appropriate for you. So don't go quite as far if you're not feeling it. Elbow nearly coming down to the hip. So the dragon twitches its tail past the halfway point. Be careful of your knees, don't awkwardly twist them, and the elbow down to the hip if you're able, but don't overdo it. So we'll do another couple to the furthest extent. Breathing out and in and out and in, but just be aware of your breath. Let's do one more. This elbow can come behind a little further, but only if you're very flexible. And with the stick still behind the back, we're going to greet the master forwards a little bit and up. Breathe out as you come down, a little further. Always looking forwards and up. This can be done lifting the chest a little bit and taking the head back. Slightly different methods of doing it. And a little further, but only if you feel comfortable and able to do it. Knees should be straight on this one, really. A little further, legs straight, back straight, and down. And up, and further, and we'll do another couple to the furthest extent. Don't do it so far that you tense up. Don't do anything that's going to be bad for you or block your chi. One more. Now we're going to bring the stick up. Let it hang in front of the body. I'm going to slide my hands in so that they're just on the outside of where the legs are. So we're going to do the Chinese opera bows, where we bow to the front and to the sides of the audience. Take a big deep breath in. We come down. Perhaps the stick's going to come down halfway between the thighs and the knees. Come back up. Turn to one side. Do the same thing. Legs should be straight, but don't do anything that's bad for you. All the way around to the other side. And up, round to the front, and a little further down, but only go as far as you feel's good. If the first or the second one you feel is far enough for you, then just repeat these exercises only going down that far. There's no point in trying to do something the same way as someone who practices it all the time. If you don't practice it all the time, it won't necessarily be good for your health. So now down past the knees, I'm going to start to drop the head. Come back up. And down. Round. Breathe out as you come down. In as you come up. No need to go any further than that. I'm going to go further down if you have the flexibility. Not all the way down yet because we've still got another couple of stages to go. You'll find it easier at the front, more challenging at the sides. Round to the front, to the side, and down. Now even further, down to the ankles. One side and the other. And then down further if you have the flexibility. Of course, practicing this all the time will give you the flexibility like all of the exercises will. And we'll do one more full extend. Down in front, and to one side and the other. And we come up. Now we're going to bring the stick behind your back. It's very important to have your hands round the correct way, not so that your fingers are facing back, but you turn the grip around so that the palms can face forwards to lightly grip the stick. The arms should be locked out to their full extent. You come forwards a little, back up, and down a little further. Stick starts to lift. Let the chest open a little bit and down. A little further. Only if you have the flexibility, a little further. Searching for the hatchet. 2 more stages to go. A little further again. And then all the way down. We'll do another 2 down all the way. One more. Bring the stick back in front, and we're going to take a wider stance, a little wider if you're not used to this, 2 shoulder widths wide out with the feet. If you are used to it, feet facing forwards. This is sometimes taught with the feet out to the sides. I don't think that's a great method myself. Feet facing forwards is the traditional horse stance. And bring the stick up and behind your back, and your legs out quite straight. Take a big deep breath in, keep your back straight, start to flex the knees out towards the toes, coming down, breathe out, breathe in, come up, and down a little further. And up, this is the horse on the tightrope, down, a little further. Down a little further again. Try to avoid sticking your bum out and leaning your shoulders forwards again. 2 more stages, a little further again. And 1 more all the way. And we'll do a couple more down to that lower extent. One more. And up. Walk the feet in a little bit until you can comfortably step into a shoulder width wide. Bring the stick round in front, slide the hands in. Bow to the forehead. Let it hang, close your eyes. Just regulate the breath, long and deep and slow. And eyes open. A little bit of practice every day. There are lots of exercises in this sequence. We'll bring you some more as we go along. But start with that nice, easy, simple first set, and we'll see how we do. Good work, everyone. Really well done.